Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chris Wiser coming to you with another seven-figure MSP weekly webinar. I am here today with Doug Hazelman from MSP 360. What's up, buddy?
Oh, it's been exciting moving into a new house. So the movers actually just left. So now it's going to be unpacking for Memorial Day weekend.
So, hey, you're in. You got internet. We were talking about that in the green room. That's a huge win, right? That's a big deal. Usually, I remember when I moved into my last new house, we were trying to get fiber put in and all this big old mess, and then they screwed everything up for like 2 weeks. So I had to like work off cellular for 2 weeks. So it was a big headache. So, cool. So for those of you that don't know Doug, what's your title and everything over at MSP 360?
So my official title is VP of Technical Marketing. So I'm technical, but I also know marketing. So that's
technical marketing.
Technical marketing. So that's kind of where the title comes from. And I help a lot on our marketing efforts. I do some of the community outreach. I do a lot of these webinars like this, and also a lot of the shows that used to happen, but haven't happened for the last couple of months. So if you've been to some of the ASCII shows, those types of things, you probably see me around working the MSP 360 booth.
Yep. Yeah. And we met, I think the last time we saw each other was at ConnectWise IT Nation, I believe, if I'm right.
It might've been that, or it could have been
time I saw you in person. Yeah.
That or the IT Glue event, one of those two.
Yeah. I was at both. So yeah. Okay. So give us a little background on just what MSP 360 is. I know it's formerly Cloudberry. We got a lot of people that are in this group that use it. But just give us a little background, and then we're going to talk today about helping your business recover from COVID-19, get more MRR revenue, all these different things. Tell us a little bit about you guys first.
Sure. So we used to be Cloudberry. We didn't get bought or anything like that. It was just we decided to change the name to MSP 360 because that's what we focus on as MSPs. So it made a lot more sense to be MSP 360 than Cloudberry. People always ask, so did you get bought? No, we didn't. We just changed our name. But what we essentially do is we provide tools and resources for MSPs. Most notably is backup, and we do backup to the cloud. So instead of us owning cloud storage and making MSPs back up to our cloud storage, we let you choose the storage provider you want to use. So if you want to use S3, go ahead. Azure, doesn't matter. Backblaze, B2, Wasabi, whatever works best for you and your business. And that can also help in terms of profit margins as well. But we back up desktops, we back up servers, we back up VMs, we back up Office 365. We offer the complete suite. It's a software as a service model. So you use your web browser, you log in, you add your customers. Each one's a separate tab. You can set quotas, you can do pricing, all sorts of different types of stuff. And we tie into a couple of the different RMM and PSA tools as well.
So it's pretty cool. It's like basically like a MSP standard conduit for all these other different cloud platforms that are all over the place. So that's one of the reasons that I really like it is it gives you guys to have, MSPs. If you want to try and use one provider, you have to completely build everything for one provider. You guys make it so you can build everything for MSP 360, and then they can choose the provider, which is much more scalable, much more flexible. I like it a lot.
Yeah, you can also change providers. So the nice thing is because the MSP, it's their storage account, it's not ours. They own it.
Yeah.
So it's not like if you want to switch to if you want to go from Amazon to Azure, all you really have to do is move the data. It's your data. We don't own it. If you stop using MSP 360, the data is still going to be there in your cloud storage account. It doesn't get deleted just because you stopped using MSP 360 for whatever reason. So I think, and a lot of people sometimes don't quite understand that idea of data ownership, because if you're going to a backup vendor's private cloud or that backup vendor's cloud, and you want to switch backup vendors, they're going to hold your data hostage because you got to pull it out, and it's hard to move. So that's one of the things that I talk about too. Is it's your data, well, your customer's data. You should own it, and that's what we allow you to do.
Yeah. So we actually just had a question that came in here from can't see who this is because they didn't authenticate, but Facebook user.
Facebook user.
Which RMM do you guys actually connect with? So let's hit that one right away.
Well, I kind of misspoke. I meant to say PSAs. So we integrate with ConnectWise from a PSA standpoint. RMM, we we give you all of the scripts and information you need for particular RMMs to deploy our solution. And then once it's deployed, then it rolls up into our interface. You can see it. So we don't have remote deployment yet. So you can't like go into MSP 360 into your dashboard and deploy the agents, the backup agents, but you can download it specific for your customers. And then,
sounds like you guys have billing flexibility and integration with the PSAs though.
Correct. So from the PSA standpoint, you'll see, we can raise alerts and flags and things like that within the PSA so that you only have one place to go to look for your alerts.
Yeah. Okay, cool. If you guys are watching, you can see we just had a viewer question come in. Please put your questions in here while we're live with Doug, and we'll answer them live here on the webcast for you. If you are watching this recorded or later, please reach out to MSP 360. You can do a free trial on their website. You can see I put the link down here on the bottom of the screen. You guys can do that. Great product. I personally endorse it and recommend it to our clients, so I love it as well. So Doug,
there was one other thing I wanted to mention though. In terms, we talked about backup because that's kind of what we're known for, but we also have what we call remote assistant, which is essentially remote control, and the beauty is it's free. So in this, COVID-19 world, if your customers are now all of a sudden working remote and you need to connect to their computers, all they have to do is download Cloudberry Remote Assistant. You can connect to them. It's free, doesn't cost anything. And as we move that platform forward, we'll continue to integrate it more and more into the MSP 360 platform.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I didn't even know that you guys had that. So that's awesome. No. Okay, cool. So let's segue a little bit. We are obviously here to talk about COVID-19 and revenue, how to use scalability, work from home, all these different things to potentially get revenue. I know you guys have a ton of resources. Let's start out with the baseline question. How are your clients seeing revenue increases, or what are some of the best ways you can recommend revenue increases for anybody that's out there?
Well, for the most part, if all of a sudden people are working from home, if they had an office PC before and now they're at their home PC, that data, and it still needs protected, it still needs to be controlled. So essentially, from a revenue standpoint, you've just kind of not necessarily doubled, but you've just increased the number of endpoints at a particular customer, because now maybe they're on a different PC or a new laptop or something like that, if they can find one. And
that's the challenge.
And so if you're charging per endpoint, then guess what? You've got a few new endpoints you can charge for, and then from a protection standpoint, we make it easy, cross-platform, Windows, Mac. You can now protect that new endpoint as well.
So you just mentioned something that's pretty interesting, which a lot of these MSPs don't typically do. There's not a lot of actual individual PC coverage that comes into play, usually in the office space. I know back when I had my MSP, we did that, but it was only on a specific scenario, and it was usually for like your decision makers, your C-level people. You guys can deploy an agent and utilize the cloud now to protect anybody anywhere. And that's something I think, how many of your clients would you say are actually using that exact scenario to protect home users and all that, people that work from home scenarios?
Well, definitely a lot more over the last several months. We've definitely seen an increase in terms of download and license usage amongst our established MSPs, because, like I said, now they have more things that they need to protect that weren't necessarily there before. So we've definitely seen an increase in that, and we've also seen new customers come to us. We've run some promotions where we've said, hey, you get 90 days free for desktops, just to say, hey, we know you need to do these new things. We won't charge you a license fee for the first 90 days to be able to do that. And I think, and we're not the only company that's doing that. I think all the vendors are really trying to help the MSPs to make sure that you guys can stay in business. And we're going to stay in business as well, but we want to make sure the MSPs can stay in business and still have the tools and resources, even if maybe the revenue is not coming in like it used to.
Yeah. Have you seen this as more of a standalone sales product? Or one of the things that I recommend to our clients is including these types of services as part of the stack, a differentiation piece. We don't necessarily sell the individual product, but we sell it as part of the stack, and it's a value add. What have you seen as the most successful or maybe the most popular in your side?
Most of our MSPs sell it as part of their stack, right? It's it includes data protection. They don't care if it's MSP. The customer doesn't care who it is.
Yeah.
They just want to know that they're backed up. So you can say, hey, we're going to back your data up to the cloud. And they're like, okay, great. I've heard that's good. So they do that. And the other thing is with us, and I know other vendors do this as well, is we allow you to brand our backup and our agents as your company. So we call it custom rebranding. So you can actually create a custom build that has your name, your company, your URLs, all that type of stuff in there, so that if the customer does see the interface on their computer, it's going to say Bob's computer, not MSP 360.
Mm-hmm. I'm always a huge proponent of that. My product, we called it, my MSP was called Tech Squad IT, and we called it Data Vault. And all of our backup products were all called Data Vault. It didn't matter whether it was the end user PC side or the server side, it was all Data Vault. I really like the fact that you guys have that white label branding, because it makes, and keep in mind, guys that are watching this, branding your entire solution as a solution to a problem, like Doug mentioned, is a huge branding point. It's a massively important thing to do, and it's very critical as you grow, because what's going to happen is vendors change and vendors move. So you need to identify yourself. It's really good that you have a partner in MSP 360 that allows you to do that and endorses that. So that's big.
Yeah. And the other thing is too, from an interface standpoint, if the interface does come up for the customer, they see it, you don't want the customer calling us. You want the customer calling you. Right. So from a branding perspective, I think that's extremely important, because if all of a sudden they're like, they start calling us, we don't want to talk to your customers. We want to talk to MSPs, and we want you to talk to your customers on our behalf.
And it should be that way. There's no MSPs that should want their customers talking to their vendors directly. So
exactly.
I think that's all great. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little more COVID-19. I know you guys have a ton of resources that are out there. Do you want to walk everybody through that, or what's your?
Sure. I'll just, I'll show you quick here on screen share. This is our website. It's pretty simple and basic. You just go up, just click here on search and just type in COVID-19, and you'll see a long list of resources that we have out there. I mentioned some of our promotion. We have a message from our CEO, but we've continued to put out content during this time to really help MSPs. Like coronavirus phishing awareness guide.
Yeah, can we walk through? I just was going to ask you to walk through. Yeah. Look at what that is, because that looks very interesting.
Yeah, and the other thing, so some of these things it's not necessarily for the MSP to learn from. It's for you to use for your customers.
Yeah, they're lead generation. We call those lead magnets on my side.
Exactly,
that's what they should be used for. Absolutely.
Yeah, and so we have keeping data safe, from ransomware, and so there's just again, there's a number of resources here. We give you email examples. So our job, what we really want to do is to help the MSPs educate their customers, especially with, again, the bad actors take any excuse to come up with something new to get out there and scam people. So, just again, we give you the examples, we give you guides, and there's some areas too where we give you presentations. So there's a whole host of resources. It's a little bit too much to delve into in a single webinar, but we definitely want.
I like to see it though, because giving this kind of stuff, and then one of the things I want you that are all watching this to think about is putting these things in front of your prospects, educating them on a constant basis. This gives you tons of content that you can actually use. This is a great example of a vendor that is providing you with this content for email nurture, for regular testing, for regular education, for part of your blogs, for part of your webinars, for part of your YouTube channel. Like all this other stuff are all baselines. And even if you don't use the content verbatim, they're giving you ideas. Like that's what I like to see.
Yes. Like here's 8 crisis management tips for MSPs. And it talks about the fact that no one predicted this. But as an owner, right, you need to focus on both strategy and process in order to stay on track. So we kind of cover some key areas for you to do. So I know, as a business owner, MSPs are out there, hopefully things have calmed down. I'm not saying, I don't want to necessarily say it's a new normal, but I know it kind of hit, and now everyone's trying to figure out what the new normal is going to be. And we're just trying to give you the resources to cope in this new world.
No, they actually stay right there on that table of contents really quick that you were just on, because I will tell you guys, it's as if I wrote that. I'll tell you that, because I tell my clients exactly the same stuff. Social media is the number one way you should be doing things now. You can reach so many people so much more effective. And Doug, you're in marketing, so you get that. You know that you can reach so many more people now than you ever could. But the couple things that you have there that are so key, and you guys did a really good job on this, because it's super tight and clean. Help rather than sell. Solve solutions. Sell to the problems you solve. Make sure that you stay relevant and you stay concise. And then what I really like to see is reaching a new audience via education. Those are really, really great things. So I would encourage everybody to just jump out to that site and take a look at that stuff, because it's all very relevant. And actually, we get a lot of feedback. I actually personally get a lot of kickback from MSPs that say, there's feedback and kickback. I personally get a lot of kickback because I'm going to move your screen off for right now, just so we can get back to you and I. That marketing is a waste of time for MSPs, and I notice you're laughing at that. It's kind of my response too, but there's a lot of MSPs out there that are solopreneurs or break fix guys, and they have this mindset only because that's all they know right now. And it doesn't mean you guys are bad or evil or anything like this, but marketing is basically the breath or the air for businesses. We as vendors would not survive without it. What's your response to an MSP that comes back and says, I only grow my business by referral. Marketing is a waste of time, and marketing is a waste of money. So
they're happy with where their business is currently at, and it's a lifestyle company for them, and they don't want to grow. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Right. It's always the fact, why do you market? You market to get more customers. You market to get more attention. So more people are talking about you. So more people know about you. So more people come to you to give you more business. If you don't want more business, if you're happy with the 2 or 3 referrals you get a quarter, and you're at a steady state in your business, and it's enough to, you're happy with your life, and you don't want to go out, you don't want to have to hire a bunch of employees and those types of things, then marketing isn't for you.
Yeah.
But if you really want to, if you have grander sights and you realize, hey, I'm doing this and I want to grow, I want to get to the point where I'm 7 figures, and
I like to use that word, by the
way. And you've got multiple employees, and eventually you want to grow a big business and be the name in your for whatever, whether it's you're serving verticals or you're serving a location, but you want those businesses to know who you are, and you want them all to come to you. You want to crush the competition. That's a different drive than I'm happy with my referrals.
Yeah,
I can pay my bills and I don't need anything else. So
that's pretty much it. And a little bit of, you're very accurate on that. And it kind of, you could see the comment that I just put on screen here from Danny Taylor. Danny seems to be like a resident webinar comment guy, which I love it. But he said it's hard to understand the importance until you've actually experienced it. I think you don't know what you don't know in that scenario. Yeah. It's very difficult. So I would encourage all of you, and let's focus on this a little bit more, Doug. How can, and the way that I look at, yes, we're in a disaster. We're in this pandemic and it's a mess. Mm-hmm. And I think you're spot on with, I don't like the term the new normal either, but I think we've seen, as MSPs, for the most part, we've seen the losses that we're going to see.
Yeah.
Everybody that died, everybody that's gone is gone. Everybody that's staying is here, and they're still functional and they're working, which means that we can actively work with them, which means we can actively sell them new solutions to problems. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts around that?
I think if you've been primarily focusing on professional services type business, chances are you're going to be okay. Accountants aren't going anywhere. Lawyers aren't going anywhere. I see a lot of issues for MSPs that focus on retail, and small business type, because those businesses may not bounce back. You look at even like dentist office and those types of things that had to close down. There's no revenue coming in for them. There's no revenue that they can share with that they can give with the MSP. But I think as things start to open up, I think we're going to start to see for the MSPs their business is going to start getting back to normal a little bit. But I do feel for those MSPs that focus more on the retail side, small business retail, because I think those have been the hardest hit.
Yeah, and I think what's very interesting, and everything you're saying here, and Doug and I don't talk very often, for you guys that know this, but we're like literally on exactly the same page because we have the same mindset about this. We stay positive, we stay focused on this. We realize that we're going to have some loss, but here's the other things that are important. If you focus on the right clients, the right types of clients, and the right fit for your business clients, that's going to make you very cash flow positive in great times and recession proof in terrible times. Yeah. And I'm a huge believer that I know we're in this disaster, like I said, but we're on the cusp of the next new biggest opportunities. There's always opportunity in disaster. We were talking on my coaching call yesterday that work from home, becoming a work from home expert is probably going to be the next big wave. Cybersecurity is not going anywhere fast, right? Cybersecurity is going to be here. But I think work from home is going to be the next big thing because yes, everybody put it in play and it's for the most part established now, but how well did they secure? How well did they properly back up? How well did they, almost everything was half-assed realistically. Yeah. And for every client that we all worked with, there's 99 clients out there that did it horribly. Yeah. So I think that's a huge opportunity, not only for the MSP, but for the MSP to use MSP 360 as a conduit. What you're saying, what do you think about that side?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's from a revenue opportunity. It's like, hey, are you working from home now? Are you using your home PC? Is your home PC backed up? Right? If it's not, guess what? I can do that for you. I can back up your home PC. Well, whether it's Mac, Windows, Linux. I don't think many people use Linux at home, but I can offer you data protection. I'm going to back your data up to the cloud. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to change anything in terms of your workflow. I don't need to send you any equipment. All I'm going to do is just install something on your computer, and once a day it's going to send data up to the cloud. And that way, if you have an issue, I can get your data back for you. And I know residential is a 4-letter word for MSP for most MSPs, but I think that's kind of what we're getting to. Is with work from home, we're going to start seeing more residential type opportunities, or
and they may not just be on the residential PC. Like for example, I'm working from my house right now. I have my own internet. I have my own firewall. I have all my own stuff. I'm on my work gear. Yeah, but I'm at home. So this is a huge opportunity for you guys. Now the thing that I want to caution against is the traditional MSP sales mind goes to, okay, I'll sell them that individual backup product. And you remember going all the way back to the beginning when Doug and I were talking about MSP 360 and what they do, how they recommend it's packaged. It should be packaged as part of your stack, which means that you have the full solution. So when you see an opportunity like that, don't just get all giddy and go jump for the small fish. Say, why don't we do a risk assessment on your whole entire network? Because clearly you're missing this. Yeah. You must be missing other things too. Turn that into a sales consultation opportunity, then take it and jump in and dive in for the big fish. Yeah.
Or even like you said, the opportunity, right, is they never thought of working from home before. Now they are, and they want to create that separation of what they're working from, like you said, from from a network perspective, so that, the kids on the iPad in the next room are going to interfere with you, trying to do a work call.
Yeah. And the other thing is most MSPs, again, this actually came across in one of our coaching calls probably 2 months ago. IT people are conditioned to say yes. They are naturally conditioned to say yes. So when that comes across and you think about what's happened over the last, and trust me, there's MSPs that are on the far end of the spectrum, like you can't do anything unless it's locked down secure. But then there's MSPs on the other far end of the spectrum that are letting anything in the world fly for $1. Yeah. And I'm not categorizing any of you, but it happens. I know what happens because we see them. Doug, I know you know what happens too, because we all see them. And this is an opportunity for you guys to say, stop, whoa, quit. We have to segregate. We have to, you think about your business finances. If you commingle, what happens? It's a disaster.
Yeah.
Personal and business, if you commingle, it's a disaster. The same thing happens, and that's the same example you can use as you're pushing this mindset out. If you're going to have a work from home policy, and if we're going to allow work from home, we need to have everything work from home at every house. Everything's got to be locked down. Everything's got to be secure. Everything's got to be properly backed up.
Mm-hmm.
This is just an avenue to do that. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. One more time while we're thinking about this, if anybody has any questions or comments related to any of this for Doug or myself, bring them in. We're just talking about MSP 360. MSP 360.
Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
I know it's in there. Just sit in your house all day and do the same stuff. Just all kind of jumbles together in your brain. We're talking about MSP360.com and cloud storage, how to add more revenue to your MSP, how to survive COVID-19. Any other specific ideas from your side, Doug, that you would really recommend MSPs can look at from a low-hanging fruit scenario?
And I say this all the time, whether it's COVID or not, is reach out to your vendors. Ask them what kind of assistance they can offer you. You have a stack. It's multiple vendors. We're just one vendor. There's other vendors, and there's probably promotions out there. Ways to help. Because the vendors don't want the MSPs to go out of business, right? Because MSPs go out of business, we go out of business. So we have a vested interest in keeping you in business, even if it does mean that we're going to give you 90 days, of free licenses for something or whatever. At the end of the day, it's best for us to do something like that, and it's best for every vendor to do something like that to make sure that the MSPs are successful. So. Like you said, there's opportunity in tragedy. This is an opportunity now to hopefully save on licensing fees across your stack for a period of time.
Yeah, and not only that, you saw the amount of content that MSP 360 has built. And every single MSP that comes into my program says we don't have any marketing content. We don't know what to write emails about. Yeah. Doug just showed you they have a massive repository of stuff. Almost every single vendor that's out there has a lot of this stuff. So please ask them not only for what Doug mentioned, but ask them for their marketing content to help you. They will help you. Most of them will help you do joint webinars. Do you guys do joint webinars or joint live events or anything with people? I guess not too many live events anymore.
No,
not right now.
Yeah. Live webinars is something that we've discussed. We don't really offer it right now for our MSPs. But it's definitely something we've discussed and we'd like to be able to do sometime in the future.
So maybe what we should do is we should team up and make like a kit, like a webinar kit. Because it's pretty easy to put this stuff on, and you don't necessarily have to be the ones running the webinar or even being on the webinar. But if you gave your clients a kit that's around, why work from home needs to be secure. Actually, that's really, and my team that's watching this, that's a really good campaign. So we'll maybe start building that and we'll work with you on it. Okay. So there's a couple other quick things that I think we can talk about. I know that there's a lot of concern with potential RMM integration and PSA integration. Is there any reasons why not to do any of that stuff? I know I've gotten that question a couple times. It seems like kind of a weird question, but it's come to me a few times. So I just want to see what your opinion is on that.
Well, I think it all comes from how many applications do you want to use in a given day? If you have to go to 6 different places, to make sure everything's operational, it's not nearly as efficient as going to one place, your PSA, to make sure that, hey, everything is up and working. Now, that's not to say that if your PSA throws an alert for something that you're not going to dive into the other applications interface and troubleshoot it there, but at least you don't have to babysit all these different applications. And I think that's one of the big things that PSAs do. And if you can integrate the billing, then, as each different system, sends up their billing information, you add on your margin. Now you've just got one place. I'm not an MSP, but if I was, I would be using it, PSA with very tight integration with my entire stack. Because it just makes sense.
Even if, and one of the things that I recommend for those of you that are listening is to bill a single flat rate across your entire, one client gets one bill, not a single, they get one bill, but one line item is what I probably should say. Instead of having, and some of these MSPs have 3 or 4 or 10 or 15 pages of an invoice with all the different stuff. My recommendation is make this part of your stack. make sure that it's integrated, and then use the billing integration for your costing on the backside for what your profitability is. And that's going to help. I think it's going to make it a lot simpler. And it's really good to know that your back end plugs directly into multiple different PSAs. So I think that's really cool. Okay. So we're coming to the bottom. Actually, we're right at the bottom of the hour. Anything else that you want to focus on or talk about? I know I'm going to put your URL back up here on the screen. What's your trial? Can you talk about that really quick?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's on the website, it might say 15 days, but it's, you can ask for more time. We offer a trial. It's like I said, it's really easy to use and deploy. And if you have questions, we have solution engineers that will walk you through it, help you to get set up. It can be daunting sometimes because we don't provide the cloud storage and you have to choose it. And you're like, well, what's the best cloud storage? We're not going to tell you what the best is, but we might talk with you and understand your business and understand what might be best for you, given your situation. Because there's pros and cons of all of them. And again, we have resources to help you choose what cloud storage provider is going to be best for you. So
I think that's a pretty big key. The fact that Doug is sitting here, because there's MSPs that swear by this one or swear by that one. That's the only one you should use, blah, blah. But the fact that Doug is sitting here from an actual cloud SaaS vendor telling you that they all have pluses and minuses and there's no clear cut winner. It's just a matter of what works best in your scenario.
Yep.
And what works best for your clients on
exactly
in that scenario. But the flexibility of MSP 360, I think, really helps out on that. Okay, cool. Anything else you got?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I'm good.
What was that?
I said, I think I'm good.
Okay. And Victor just commented, here comes the obligatory IT guy coming in with the back comment. Yeah, there we go. We got our tech comment in for the webinar. So here's what I'd say for you guys to do. I fully endorse and really like and care about these guys over at MSP 360. They have a great product. I really like what they do and their whole concept behind it. I surely wish this was around back when I still had my MSP, because it would have made my life a hell of a lot easier. Take a look at their trials. I think it's 14 days you said on there, but if you want, reach out to your agent, talk with them.
Yeah. They'll extend it. Yeah.
And they'll extend it for you. The bottom line is here we go. We got an update. We got a grin out of it. They'll extend that for you, but bottom line, give it a try and use this as part of your stack. The all you can eat model really, really works. We do this all the time with our 7-figure MSP.com clients, and we're helping them get to the 2, 3, 4. We had a guy close at $500 a seat a couple days ago.
Awesome.
And coincidentally, he included MSP 360 as part of his stack. So it was really cool. All right, Doug, thanks for coming on with us today. I hope you're staying safe.
Chris.
Congrats on the new house.
Thanks.
Good. He's got a fan for his head.
Yeah.
I like that too. So
and boxes and all around me. So
you guys over at MSP 360, be safe. Tell Artem I said hi. And we'll see you guys soon. For the rest of you, we'll be back next week with more webcasts. Doug, take care, buddy, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Chris.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.